and for this reason causes doubts in the human mind of its existence. Why does Allah want us to believe in something which cannot be seen, and this causes doubts in the human mind of its existence? Again, let's unpack the question. The question assumes that for me to believe in something, I have to see it. That might be one assumption of the question, that everything that I believe in must be based on me being able to see it. Does seeing, as Ustad Imran mentioned, does seeing only count as evidence? So think about this. Do you doubt things that you cannot see? So your great-great-grandparents, for example, or your great-great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents. You probably think, no, actually I can't, though I haven't seen them, but I can infer that I wouldn't be here unless my parents were here, and my grandparents were here, my grandparents' parents were here, my grandparents' grandparents weren't here. I make an inference, but I didn't do it based on seeing, right? I'm just giving you a basic example. That just shows you that the question assumes that Allah wants us only to believe in something that we can see. Well, what about things to believe in that from inference? Yeah? I didn't see it was raining last night, but I woke up in the morning and the floor was wet, or the windowsill was soaked, or the windows got splashed with water, maybe it rained. I make an inference, but I didn't see it happening because I was conked out at the time. So that's called an inference, isn't it? I didn't see it. So we may need to ask the question, well look, why must you assume that Allah wants you to believe in things, only things that you can see? Does Allah want you to switch off your reasoning power? Your powers of induction and deduction? Yeah? So, the other thing that Ustad Imran touched on, and I think is so vital in all of this, and this is, I think there's a take-home message, if nothing else sinks in. The fundamentals of our deen, the belief in Allah, the belief that the Quran is mu'jiz, is inimitable, matchless, it's a miracle, the need for messengers. The foundations of our deen is based on the intellectual evidence or proof, whatever you want to call it. Intellectual is rational. Now the things that come out of that foundation, so things like, once you establish that Allah exists, the Quran is a miracle, and the need for messengers, the things that these three foundations tell us to believe in will also be rational. Why? Because the asas, the foundation, is now rational. So now the Quran tells us to believe in things that are unseen. But that's not irrational. Why? Because the source that it's coming from, the Quran, we believe is irrational, can be proved by the mind that it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So once the asl is sound, then what the asl contains, the source contains, is also sound. So that's our argument. We have that kind of foundationalism. Yeah? So Allah is telling us, and His Messenger alayhi afdal salatu taslim, that you know what, when you die, this is what's going to happen. And you know what? There's a world where there's angels, there's jinn, and so on and so on. So all the unseen, this is still just as real as this table. They're just as real. But one is within the domain of my senses, and one is not in the domain of my senses. But because it's not within my senses, I can't infer that therefore that's not true. So yes, only if we assume that empiricism and the five senses is the only way to get truth and knowledge, like this culture tells us to believe in, then we're going to think, why doesn't Allah just throw everything in front of our face? So you see, we live in a materialist world, isn't it? The material things are what's accentuated. The senses and the sensual is what's important and emphasized. So whatever's important to your senses, that alone is what's important. But who said that? Who said that? It's the culture that teaches us that your senses is the most important thing. But we've also got inference and deduction, isn't it? There are things that we infer that's out there, that's true, even though we haven't seen it with our own eyes. So why does Allah want us to believe in something which cannot be seen? Well, why assume that only the senses alone establishes something for you as being true? Yeah? So maybe your doubts are created by misunderstanding the nature of the kind of things that exist and how they can be proven. Yeah? Does that make sense? So, again, break down the assumption of the question. Why does Allah want us to believe in something? Why must Allah show you everything with fireworks? Why must you know everything bang, 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 like fireworks? Why? Why assume that? Why assume that? Why must Allah have to put everything in front of your five senses? So, that's not to dodge the question. We just gave a response. There are things that you believe in, but you haven't seen it. There are things that you believe in, but you haven't seen it.